Welcome to Shift Happens. This is where we deconstruct the most recent episode of Bullshift the podcast and add a few hacks that can help you to make better investment decisions. This past week, we spoke with Burkhard Mausberg, and Burkhard is a real expert with regard to environmental policy and lobbying and actually affecting meaningful change within the environmental movement in Ontario. What struck me is that there are so many similarities in advocating for environmental concerns as compared to transparency, client-centered changes, and the like with regard to the financial services movement. The phrase that I could not help but think about when I was speaking with Burkhard is the phrase of confirmation bias. It is one of many things that I talk about in Bullshift, and it is a real concern for decision making in all walks of life. Confirmation bias is when you presumably don't know much about a subject or about a term, and you want to learn about it, but you have a chosen course of action that you would like to pursue. So when you quote unquote do your research, the first thing that you find when you do a Google search that conforms with your view is the view that you espouse. So as a result, what you can have is you could maybe do a Google search of when is the best time to contribute to an RRSP, or should I put money into my TFSA or to my RRSP, or whatever, or when should I convert my RRSP to a RIF? You can have any number of different personal finance questions that you have been contemplating, and you want to be able to justify a preferred course of action. So let's say you want to retire at age 65 and start taking your Canada Pension Plan benefits at age 65, even though people have said that it might be worthwhile to wait longer, perhaps as late as age 70. If you were to type in CPP benefits or CPP benefits age, you would likely find a number of different articles and obviously a government website and opinions about what to do and when. Literally, the first article that you find that conforms with the view that you had, the course of action that you wanted to pursue, is the one that you will point to and say, I did my research, and this guy here, Joe Blow, says I should take my CPP on my 65th birthday, the month that I turn 65. So I'm going to I'm going to elect to start taking government benefits at age 65. There may be benefits in doing it sooner. There may be benefits in doing it later. That's of little to no consequence. What people will often do is they will simply find a way to justify doing what they had always wanted to do. It's another form of motivated reasoning, looking up things and saying and justifying by way of saying, well, I've looked into it, I've thought about it, I've contemplated this very deeply. But as a matter of fact, the decision was largely emotional, largely self-serving, and the sort of thing that you wanted to do all along. This is the sort of thing that happens in all walks of life. It's not just in finance, and it's not just in environmental concerns. It's a part of being human, is that we want to be able to justify our behaviors. Many decisions are made emotionally and then justified after the fact with some sort of backfill data that we found that will allow us to justify the decision that we knew that we wanted to make and that we then claim to have made based on evidence, when in fact it was based on the first thing that we could find that would support our pre-existing notion. Hope that helps you to understand things. We'll see you next week.
John DeGooey is a portfolio manager with Design Securities in Toronto. He is the author of both Bullshift, How Optimism Bias Threatens Your Finances, and Stand Up to the Financial Services Industry, Protecting Yourself from Well-Intended but Oblivious Advisors. The books are available online and in bookstores everywhere. The opinions expressed on Bullshift and Shift Happens should not be construed as investment advice. You can reach John at jdegooey@designsecurities.ca or at 647-STAND-UP. That's 647-782-6387.